you got people, that like clientele, who was there, who can verify what you're saying. But what's done is done. Now it's time for the future. What are you looking at in 2015, 2016?
Well, I've been working on a cable series directed by Jim Sheridan, who did 59 episodes of Boardwalk Empire. And he also did, he's won several Academy Awards, one for My Left Foot. So he's a major director. And, when I think of Gary Gray, yeah, he was around. But he did Be Cool, which was the sequel to Get Shorty, which is probably the worst sequel of any movie that's ever been made. Get Shorty was one of my favorite movies, and I went to see Be Cool, and it just, wow, that was such a bad movie.
Hell yeah!
But he's one of Cube's guys, So there you go.
Yeah. That's another thing. It was produced by the two guys that left the group. It was their people. People were left out of the whole process of the writing the script, and like you should have been interviewed. Cocaine should have been interviewed. Rhythm D. So many people. Bone Thugs and Harmony. I mean, how can you not include them? They go all the way up to the scene of Eazy's death, but there was so much from 93 to 95 that they just completely left out. It just baffles me. But
right.
It is what it is. Last time you were on the show, you said you were gonna see the movie Front Row with a couple lawyers. Did that happen?
Well, yeah. I've said all along that I thought it was inappropriate for me to speak on the movie when I hadn't seen the movie. Well, now I've seen the movie, and I'm weighing, what I'm going to do about the way I was portrayed. And some of the, let's politely call them inaccuracies in the film.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you said Gary Balance said it was 75% accurate?
Mm-hmm.
65,
he said
75.
they had you in.
He said there was
he said they had you in different spots. You wasn't on certain shows.
He said all the inaccurate stuff had to pertain pretty much to you and a lot of the
yeah.
The only accurate stuff, I guess, was. Well, he even said that the Cube thing didn't happen because he said wasn't he a tour manager? He said that when Cube gave a speech before they did Fuck the Police, that he didn't give a speech. How they had it, in the movie, something like that. So.
Yeah, he was the production manager. Adrian Gregory, my longtime friend, who we had dealt with other acts together for years, and when he was Tupac's manager. He was the tour manager, and Gary was the production manager, and the tour ran like clockwork. They were both great,
Yeah. Oh yeah, Gary Ballin, a hell of a guy to interview. And he threw a lot of. I mean, he's for Easy and you. I mean, he was going to bat for you guys. Same with just about everybody we've interviewed about the film. So I mean, it's crazy, and it's not just the N.W.A. movie. A lot of people in mainstream pop culture, they just take what they want and they completely rewrite other parts of history or leave people out of history.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can't do that. Like one of the founding members of the Two Live Crew, which you guys both know, Mr. Mix, he's not even legally allowed to say the name Two Live Crew, and he founded the group.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he's a good guy. We used
hell of a
to
guy.
use. He had a promotion guy named Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Okay, who did the promotion for Two Live Crew, and that was Luther Campbell, who was living in Florida at the time. He did promotion for all of our records. But Doug Young was really our guy.
Yeah.
He got in his car in the morning, man, and he'd start in Riverside and go all the way up to Seattle. And remember, radio stations weren't playing our records, so he had to go to clubs and places like that. And you can't forget K-Day, man. Greg Mack, Julio G, Tony G, the Mixmasters. K-Day was they played our records.
Yeah.
They were so important to early West Coast gangster rap, man. It was unbelievable. And those guys, all those guys that know are all my friends. It's funny that these guys that really weren't even involved, like DJ Speed and guys like that, all they do is talk shit about us, and they weren't even there.
Yeah.
DJ Speed was too busy taking in Easy's laundry, man. So, but the guys that know, like Clientele and Alonzo doesn't get the credit that he should have gotten, man. Alonzo's one of the most important guys in the West Coast scene. Roger Clayton, man, Uncle Jam's Army.
Yeah, Roger, man. Yeah, oh man, Uncle Jam's Army.
Absolutely, man. Those guys were all important. And something, another thing about the movie is, have you guys ever met Brian Turner?
No. Of course, I know about
Brian Turner is one of the greatest record men I've ever met. Not only that, I'm not sure. I mean, I wasn't there, but I'm not sure that anyone could just walk into his office with a baseball bat and break it up like he did in the movie. And Brian, they sort of made him seem very wishy-washy, which he isn't and wasn't. Brian Turner is a hardcore record guy that was brought up at Capitol Records and K-Tel. He had a partner named Mark Cerami, who was one of the best distribution guys and sales guys in the history of our business. And those guys, while they really didn't understand N.W.A., they believed in me. And that's what I brought to the table. I brought credibility.
Yeah. You already had a body of work that was just unbelievable at the time.
Well, of the 20 people last year that were nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 5 were my acts. I think there's another 5 this year.
There's no reason why you shouldn't be in there, Jerry.
I started electronic music with a German group called Kraftwerk. Yeah. And they were nominated last year, and hopefully N.W.A. will get in this year. Hopefully.
Yeah, we're trying to get that going, man. We're pushing hard, trying to get those votes.
Well, you have to push hard. You have to push hard because
hard,
they don't do it by themselves. Because remember, these other groups all have big record companies behind them.
That's right.
And it's very political.
What's crazy is, I'm saying, this group could potentially have a billionaire behind it. I don't know, what's Dre doing with it? Clientele, is he promoting it?
He just actually became aware of the nominations as of yesterday or the day before. So he's definitely behind it. We haven't really talked about like what he's actually going to do. Hopefully he'll be mentioning it more if he does interviews or anything like that. But I do know that Yella and a few other folks in the Army are trying to really push, to get the awareness up so that people can go to, rockhall.com and go to voting and then, put their vote in there because, again, the more votes from the fans, it even influences, the voting panel to actually, put them in there. But, this is the 4th time, man, that NWA has been nominated.
Exactly.
And that's crazy.
I mean, all of a sudden he found out that they're nominated. This is their 4th year of being nominated.
Yeah.
So
they should be a shoo-in with the movie just coming out. I mean,
no doubt.
Well, they should anyhow. I think that they and Public Enemy are 2 of the most important groups of our generation.
Yeah.
Public Enemy politically, and N.W.A. sociologically. And I've said this all along. that if there wasn't an NWA, Above the Law would have been the biggest group on the West Coast.
Right.
Yeah,
very
big time too.
And look who wrote their songs: 187, Cocaine, Dirty Red. I mean, great songs, man. Nickel Slick Nigga. I mean, Black Superman. I mean, they were an important group, but they had to at Ruthless. They had to stand behind the owner of the company's group, and NWA.
Yeah.
I love
Above
the Law, and I always push him as much as I can. I think Hutch is one of the most talented guys that I've ever met, and that sound on Straight Outta Compton, that sort of siren, that grating siren sound in the background. I mean, that's Hutch's signature sound, man.
Hutch, yeah.
Everybody got it from him.
Yeah, so Hutch played
G-Funk.
a real big part in a lot of the early G-Funk songs. Even now, some of the stuff that he's doing now still sound good as hell.
Well, he's an incredible musician, because most rappers are not musicians. He's an incredible musician, and he can do blues, and he can do hip hop, and he can do rap, he can do jazz, he can do it all. And like you said, Cocaine is another guy. The guy should have been a big star, man. Could have been.
The dads were musicians themselves. I mean,
and Drayster and Knockout and all the guys that stuck with Easy all the way.
All the way through. That's right. Had his back.